future. A teenager from Atlanta, Georgia, Autumn Fox, uses her newfound abilities and powers to combat human trafficking. The Fox Chronicles is a coming-of-age story about a young girl's fight to save the forgotten and find her place in this galaxy-spanning adventure. The story highlights a pressing issue of today and shows how one young woman seeks to use her power to create change. If you enjoy stories like Far Sector, Ironheart, Nubia, and Netflix's Voltron Legendary Defender, this series is for you. Please support and share this campaign so we can bring this story to readers like you. Thanks for your support.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Blerdkast, and I am joined by one of the legends out there in the industry. I am joined by Mr. Tony Cade, and today we're going to talk all about the Fox Chronicles. New Kickstarter just launched, and hopefully, if you already are a fan of issue 1, you will want to go and support and get issue 2. But before we begin, I would like to go ahead and introduce the man of the hour, owners of Challenges Games and Comics, founders of the Atlanta Sci-Fi and Fantasy Expo, and one of the creators of the Fox Chronicles, Mr. Tony Cade. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. At least I thought I was. I had that brain glitch, but I'm doing fine, Mark. How about you?
I'm well. I am doing well. I read issue 1. I have enjoyed it, and I cannot wait to get into what we can expect for issue 2 and the Kickstarter for it. But before we begin, why don't you tell us a little bit about your book?
All right. Well, first of all, it's your basic, coming of age story. In the first issue, you're going to get the origin of the character, which I think is a pretty cool origin that I came up with. And you're going to get a chance to see her relationship with her family and also her friends, along with how she got her powers and abilities. And you get, a pretty good glimpse and stuff on some of the things she's going to be able to do in our upcoming stories. One of the reasons stuff that I wanted to do this story is you don't see enough, protagonist characters of the female persuasion, with natural tans out there that, aren't damsels in distress or, sidekicks. So what I wanted to do with the Fox Chronicles is, fix that, but also give you a story that you can thoroughly be enthralled in and enjoy. Also, I'll go ahead and give part of it. One of the main things that we're tackling in this first story arc is human trafficking, which I learned was a really serious problem back when I was working with the CDC on an HIV and AIDS comic that also wound up being a motion comic. Because I didn't know that the CDC dealt with things that weren't like viruses or bacteria or some other kind of disease. But they said that since trafficking was considered a pandemic, that, it was something they were going to get involved in. And I was hoping to do something with the CDC, but unfortunately that didn't pan out. So I actually got with some of the artists and also one of the writers, Robert Jeffrey, who also worked on that project. And we decided that we were going to tell our own story.
Fantastic. And since you mentioned Robert Jeffries, you created this book with not only Robert, but with other artists and illustrators. You had a whole team behind you, basically. What is it like working on a project like this, being the Fox Chronicles, and having a team that can help create this story?
Well, I've been kind of fortunate. I originally got into the whole indie publishing thing probably like 15 years ago. I actually, at my old location, it was over on Memorial Drive near Stone Mountain, we actually had one group that came in was like an art class where a lot of artists would get together and stuff, and some of the older guys would teach the younger kids, how to do like different techniques. And then they also would like teach each other how to do things. And we had a screenwriters group that was meeting at the shop. So I had the idea of like, well, why don't I get both of the groups together? Because the artists need writers and the screenwriters, they ain't got the money to do no movies, but we can maybe like pull our resources together and actually like put out some anthology comic books. So I got the two groups together along with some of the coaching that we got from Brian Stelfreeze. And we actually started doing our own 8-page anthologies. And we combined them together and started producing books. Our first two books were black and white. And then after that, we went ahead and got into doing color. And that just led later on and stuff for us actually forming a company that will actually wind up doing work for the CDC, other government agencies, and a few corporations.
Wow, that's cool. And what was the name of that company y'all created?
It was called Terminus Media.
Perfect. That was a great segue to get into that. So tell us a little bit more about Terminus Media and the type of projects that you have worked on with the team and what future projects Terminus Media is working on if you guys are still working together.
No, unfortunately, we're like that band that, kind of like broke up. And then, we started all going our own separate ways. And then one of the founding members and stuff decided that he was going to take, Terminus Media and go in a completely different direction than the rest of us, wanted to do. And actually, right now, he's actually producing spiritual comics.
Okay. Okay. Spiritual comics. That's pretty interesting. I think I know who you're talking about. Think I know who you're talking about. So anyway, let's go focus on the Kickstarter. So right now you have the Kickstarter up. It is 24 days to go. And you are raising funds for Fox Chronicles issue 1 and 2. Tell us, what are some of the rewards that people could get if they back this project on Kickstarter?
Oh, well, let me see if I can actually pull it up. That's pulling it up just off the top of my head. That's not that easy for me to do. Let's see. Can I share my screen? Yes, I can. All right. Here we are with the Fox Chronicles. Like I said, we just pretty much kept it nice and easy. We've got like an early bird special where you can get issue number 2 along with limited, very limited editions of Panels in Paradise. Panels in Paradise is actually a swimsuit issue that's featuring indie creations.
Mm.
And actually, oh, okay, I just noticed we only had 10 of those available. There's actually only 1 left. So we've actually had 9 backers for that one. Like I said, those Panels in Paradise issues are like really limited.
Okay.
All right, then we've got our Fox Chronicles to this PDF, which, helps me, put a little money and stuff into creative teams' pockets. And that's only $8. Then you got the PDF of 1 and 2 for those that didn't get a chance to read the first issue, which is an excellent issue. We have very few physical copies left of Fox Chronicles number 1 and a PDF available for people to get. Like I said, there's not many of them in existence. And at this point and stuff, I'm not even sure I'm ever going to go back to print on number 1. So if it blows up, these will definitely be collector's items. Then you can get the Fox Chronicles 2 and a PDF. And the Fox Chronicles 2 Mission Variant. Like I said, this series that we're doing is dealing with child trafficking. And we have this really awesome cover that was done by Levada. And I think, people, will like that one. Plus, it's a bit less violent, than our regular issue 2 with all the, the green blood and everything. And, a lot of people don't like the violence. So we've got one that we consider to be family friendly, but also lets you know what it's about.
Okay.
Then we've got our George Perez homage variant. I am and was a humongous fan of the artist George Perez. I've literally been reading books that he did going back to the 70s. And, his passing, was, as me, as a person, as a comic fan, and somebody who's had the chance to hang out with him, I wanted to do something, for him. So we actually did an homage cover, but technically this isn't actually a cover. It is actually the first page of a story that he's worked on. And I want to see how many of those George Perez fans out there can actually, tell me what issue or book that this is from. All right, then of course we've got early bird special, where you can get issue 2 in a PDF and one of the limited edition animation covers. And then of course something that's always popular, and I'm surprised only one person has snatched it up right now. But Fox Chronicles 2, the Marcus Williams cover. He did a really great cover for us that was really popular for issue 1. So, we were blessed enough that he was able to come back and do, issue 2 for us. As he says, at this point, I only do covers for people I like. So luckily he likes me.
Okay.
So I'm happy about that. So I'm going to try to definitely I got to stay on his side for at least 2 more issues. Make sure I keep him happy.
Definitely.
All right, then we've got our Fox Chronicles 2 Virgin cover. This is a cover that's done by a regular cover artist, Fritz Casas. And with this one, there will not be any words on the front cover. It's going to be just beautiful artwork, because we didn't want to have that covered up in any way, shape, or form. For people and stuff who missed out on the Marcus Williams variant for issue 1, we have some of those still available. And we also have for issue 1 some of our galactic covers available. And then we've got here the Marcus Williams collection, where you can get Marcus Williams art of issues 1 and 2. Okay. All right, and then right here, this is our cover done by Renee Clark of issue 2. This is going to be a metal version variant.
Okay.
So these are going to be extremely limited edition. The cover is going to be metal, and her artwork on this is gorgeous. And then we have the all-in, where you get all of the covers for issue 2. And then actually, while we're doing that, let me flip here a little bit. As you can see here, there's issue 1 by Fritz.
Right.
This is the artwork for the Virgin cover. Like I said, there would be no words covering up this awesome artwork. And you can see how nice it is. This is our George Perez homage cover. And this is our Virgin metallic cover by Renee Clark. I mean, look at that detail.
Yeah, it's very detailed.
I mean, look at the hair and the braids.
I know.
She took so much time making sure she got that just right. I am so happy and proud for her on that.
When you first posted this on Facebook, I was like, oh my God, that looks like my moderator, Joy, a little bit with cornrows. But the artwork is amazing, and I just love the attention to detail of it. But she looks so much like Joy to me. I just wanted to say that because I know she'll watch this episode.
Okay, I'm sure Joy's pretty happy about that. And here's the Marcus Williams cover.
I think I'm going to get the Marcus Williams cover.
Everybody wants Marcus Williams. This is the homage cover. And this is not actually the final colors on this one. We're going to tweak it out a little bit just to make it pop. But, I mean, just look at the emotion that this one pulls out, where you see, the expression on Autumn's face, and you can see, the guy in the background, the shadow, and how she's coming to the rescue of the little girl. I just love this piece.
Okay.
All right. And then this is actually going to be our back cover, because it's one of the things and stuff with me here in the store. I always check out how people pick up the comics, and they look at the cover and they flip around to see what's on the back. And there's usually not anything on the back. So I'm going to give you something really cool to look at on the back that's actually related to action inside the story.
Much appreciated. I am one of those people that would love to have artwork on the front and back of my covers of my books.
Yeah. And then, of course, for those and stuff, we did a little flashback here. This is the animated cover from issue 1, the galactic cover from issue 1, the Marcus Williams cover from issue 1, and this is the wraparound cover for issue 1. And this was
Yep,
a
that's the one I got.
Kickstarter exclusive, and this cover will never, ever go back to print. So even if I decide to do another print run of issue 1, which is highly unlikely, it will not have this cover at all.
Okay. Okay. And I see you already got a significant amount of backers. So a lot of people are really looking forward to this.
I need more.
I know. And I was about to ask, with there being 24 days left in the Kickstarter, you think you're gonna make the goal?
I hope I'm gonna make the goal. I mean, the last time we did this, for issue 1, we had 375 backers. So at this point, we don't even have a fraction of what we got before. But then again, like I said, when we launched the first one, it was like during the pandemic, and a lot of people had like a lot of free time. So, right now I'm thinking that, algorithms have changed on social media and stuff like that. It's kind of harder to get the word out there. But hopefully, we'll be able to get, everybody, back caught up on that. We're still releasing the book. And also and stuff, I've got like a tremendous email list that I'm going to send out reminders and stuff for people on.
And you got good friends like me who are willing to use their platforms to help get the word out. So I'm gonna definitely, not only will I, make this podcast episode available as soon as possible while the Kickstarter is live, but we'll be sharing links to it all over the social media. And I also plan on, if possible, before the Kickstarter ends, try to reach out to Robert and some of the other creators for issue 2 and have them come on and talk about it too. So this is going to be great. I just wish I knew about it sooner instead of just seeing it when it went live. So I would have reached out to you a lot sooner. But with that said,
I've been kind of like sneaking pictures and everything on the social media for months, letting people know what's coming.
No, you have been doing that, but to that I'm going to say life has been lifing a lot lately, especially with con season. I don't know if you consider it over or not, but with the conclusion of Dragon Con and everything, and just trying to get things together, life has been lifing.
You still got to do Anime Week in Atlanta, don't you?
Yeah, but that's the start of con season, because after that, then I got cons in January, February, then your con. Speaking of Atlanta Sci-Fi and Fantasy Expo, let's promote that right quick.
Okay.
So Atlanta Sci-Fi and Fantasy Expo, we finally got the dates down. We are in the middle of planning it out and getting some things together. So what can you let everybody know what to expect for this year's or next year's upcoming Atlanta Sci-Fi and Fantasy Expo?
Well, the Atlanta Sci-Fi and Fantasy Expo is a convention that we set up. Man, it's been like 10 years now. It's even hard for me to believe. About 10 years ago. And it's a free to the public event. I originally was having it at my old location at North DeKalb Mall until everything basically got shut down by the pandemic. And so last year I brought it back in my new location over here in Atlanta in North Lake Mall. Like I said, previous shows and stuff have had like, 40 some vendors, 60 hours worth of programming. We've done like cosplay balls, fashion shows. We've had, a bunch of guests come in that are writers, artists, actors that have done like how-to panels, and so basically we're going to be doing the same thing again this year.
Perfect. Are there any guests you can announce yet, or is everything still kind of being finalized?
Let's just say that there's going to be a bunch of guests that are returning, and
Okay.
some new guests that we are working on that have worked in the industries, whether as artists, writers, filmmakers, or directors of Marvel shows. But yeah, I'll go that far.
Okay, I like how you subtly hinted at that one, so I can't wait to see who that's going to be. And of course, like we're planning panels. I would like love to volunteer for a panel this year. I have some things I would like to throw out there and see if it sticks, and some returning fan favorite panels from last year. I know we're going to be there, but I'm not going to spoil them here. We're going to have a whole other podcast about that come sometime next year, closer to the con. What is one thing you personally want to see, as the con is your baby, that you want to see at ASFE 26?
Well, what I want to see, I want to see families with younger kids, coming to, to take part in it. Like I said, it's something we do that's free, to the community. Unfortunately, it costs us a little bit of money to put it on. But, I know that, as a kid myself, I wasn't able to go and attend a con until I was like grown with money.
Mm.
All right. So I was missing out on meeting, a bunch of celebrities I would have liked to have met, or, seeing people, like me, who were like making comics or were like, in the movies, and, and they could tell me, it's like, how do I get into comics? How do I get, to be in the movies? How, do I learn how to do voiceover? These things weren't accessible to me as a young broke kid. And,
Gotcha.
unfortunately for me, my parents weren't nerds. Luckily I had a father and stuff that was very supportive, so he was like supporting my, my comic book habit, and used to take me to conventions and stuff right around my birthday, and, give me money so I could buy comics, which of course I went through all the quarter bins back in the day to get as much for the money that I had. But like I
Right.
said, with the expo, I want families to be able to come in, enjoy themselves, and, let kids ooh and ah about stuff. It's like, last year, I had like, some of my grandkids and stuff came to the show. And, one of them wants to be a writer, one wants to be an artist, and be able to introduce them to people who are actually doing it for a living, was fun, something that made me feel good. And just
Mm.
watching their eyes like light up.
That's really good. I think ASFE offers so much to the community, especially to the part of the community that does, like you said, doesn't get to experience nerd culture in the way that we do as adults now. Going out, getting to meet other creators, other authors, and other writers and comic book creators, other celebrities, especially those who came from Atlanta and made it big, and now they're coming back and just sharing their experience with their community. Last year I was there, volunteering, helping you out, and one of the things that I saw that really like struck a chord with me was the Beyblade thing. Because for me, that I was kind of out of that age range when it finally came out, but when I saw all those black kids and brown kids and just kids in general up there in the steam track, and they were doing Beyblades and playing video games and doing like science and engineering and mathematics, I was like, oh, this has potential to be something bigger than even what it currently is. And I just want to just do my part to help. Be volunteering again this year for the media relations, and I'm ecstatic. I can't wait for it, to be honest. It's going to be the weekend after BlerdCon, but I'll survive because I want to see this con grow, because it's such I've gone a few times as just an attendee, but now that I've like done more behind the scenes stuff for different conventions, I like seeing like how the structure of a con grows over time. So being a part of your convention is a really tremendous part of my life right now. So I just want to thank you for just allowing me to be a part of it. But ASFE is going to be wonderful. One thing next year I want to see, and I think you kind of share the same sentiment a little bit too, definitely more cosplayers. There's some cosplayers that show up, but I mean, we really need more cosplayers to show up to ASFE in full force both days. It's 2 days this year, right? Saturday and Sunday?
Yes, Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, perfect. March when?
March 14th and 15th, 2026.
Gotcha, perfect. So yes, there's going to be a cosplay ball. There's going to be a cosplay fashion show, from what I heard, and so much more. So if you're a cosplayer and you want a free event to come out to and just show your Sunday's best, ASFE 2026 is a place to be.
Yeah,
But
that's one
yeah,
of the things and stuff too is, I want to reach out, the cosplayers, and I've also reached out to the, the cosplay your way group. And, I definitely want to push the whole thing that, cosplay is for everybody.
yes,
Like I said, I heard about the sad news about the passing of one of the young cosplayers recently. And I was like, there's no reason for stuff like that to happen. You know, we are here and we want to support everybody.
true. That is true. I can't say that enough. Cosplays for everybody, and cosplays uh itself should be a space where anybody can go to and feel safe. And the fact that this tragedy happened means that we as a cosplay community is let down our own. Um so much has like been going on in my head with just that. But before we go, you are right now sitting in your shop, and I know you had a long day. Um, Avatar pre-releases was last weekend. How did that go for you?
Oh, it went great. Like I said, Avatar has, a lot of fans. I'm a big Avatar fan. Loving the stuff that my daughter, was like, "Hey, Daddy, have you seen this?" And I sit down with her and I watched it. I'm like, "Hey, that was pretty good." And then, I come home like a couple of days later, and her mom have already bought the box set for Avatar. And I was like, "See, if I had done that, I would have gotten in trouble." But she got like the whole family, hooked on Avatar. So I watched all of Avatar. I watched all of The Legend of Korra. Here in the shop, I carried the library books and the individual books that fill in the story between the two series. You
Mm.
know, so I'm a big Avatar fan. So I was definitely looking forward to this Magic the Gathering set.
I'm gonna be honest, so am I. I haven't played Magic since before the pandemic outside of Arena, and Arena is not real paper Magic. Um,
I
and
just
I
hated
was
this
like,
stuff, but before you beat somebody, they always go, "Good game," and log off. It's like, dude, let me do my combo. You know,
yeah. I don't want to talk about that. That's why I need a new computer now, Magic the Gathering Arena. But yeah, I've been waiting for something to get me back into Magic, and I thought it was going to be the Spider-Man set, but I hear so many complaints about the Spider-Man set. But I absolutely love Avatar myself. I'm actually
oh, the Final Fantasy
upset.
set didn't bring you back?
No, no, it
No.
didn't. I thought it would, but it didn't. It didn't.
Okay. It was
It
the
didn't.
most
But Avatar is
successful
bringing me
Magic
back.
set ever.
I know, but I guess I'm not that big of a Final Fantasy fan like I thought.
Okay. Well, I can't say anything. I've only played Final Fantasy 11, and that's only because my girlfriend at the time bought it for me, and she bought the expansion so that I could play the game with her. But then
Hmm.
she got mad when she found out that I was playing the game when she wasn't playing and got a higher level. And yeah, that didn't go well.
That's always the case. That's always the case. You can okay, not gonna get into that. But yeah, I will be in to pick up some MTG Avatar stuff from you. I'm really upset that I'm a working adult and I had to work and just not have the time to come into the shop and just spend 3 days playing. But one day I will. I'll have to go on vacation just to do it. But they got Star Trek coming out next year, so that's probably going to be pretty big and pretty fun too. But before we go, do you have any last words? Anything you want to say? Anything on your heart and close to your mind that you want to share with the world?
Like I said, just get out there, enjoy the things you love. If there's a community for it, support your community. That's one of the things and stuff, I try to do. And like I said, hey, you want to like support my Kickstarter, check it out, the Fox Chronicles, and go ahead and start planning to attend the Atlanta Sci-Fi and Fantasy Expo.
Yes to both those things. Again, Cyber Monday is coming around the corner. The Kickstarter will still be live. That will, Fox Chronicles Issue 2 will make a great Christmas present to the nerd in your life.
Oh,
But
and the great thing about that is that we're going to release the PDF to all of the backers before Christmas. And hopefully, if everything goes right, the physical copies will actually be in your hand come January.
Okay. Okay.
Like I
Okay.
said, the book is completely finished, except for the inside credits page. It is on my computer and on a few other drives just in case, and it's ready to go. I just need this Kickstarter, to put it into print, to finish paying my fabulous team, and to get the books out there to you guys.
Okay. Will the Kickstarter backers be in the credit page?
No. People don't care about that anymore.
Okay. 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 Hey, that would have been a good like benefit thing, but hey, maybe for the next one. But thank you so much for coming on. I really, really, really appreciate you just being a fan of my channel and just allowing me to take up so much of your time, because you're gonna be on the show on Monday too. So I can't wait for that. But until then,
what's the show on Monday? I forgot.
it's supposed to be the Cyber Monday episode, but it's the week before Cyber Monday, so I have to talk with my producers and figure this out. So we'll see how this is going to go. Maybe I'll just make it a holiday episode since it's like the week of Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that. Make it a holiday episode. I like the holidays, so I want to talk about holidays and nerd out to that. But I won't hold you up. I know you got to go. I know you're still at work. But everybody, thank you guys for watching. This has been Blerdkast. I'll see y'all in the next episode. Peace.